Whoa, what do you think this is?
I have no clue. Oh, no, I know what it is. It's for bicep curls. So you get down, start pumping out reps.
But there's also like a seat and a space for your butt.
No, that's a manufacturing error. Yeah, it's just for this.
Hey, what is this? Hold on, I know. This is like a deflated hula hoop.
No, it's silly. Look at this. This is skipping rope, obviously.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Great first day at the gym, guys.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
baked cakes. Hey guys, Irada here with
Extra!
Ordinary athletes here helping you fit fitness into your everyday life. And today we are reflecting on what it was like when we just started working out in the gym. Do you guys remember that?
Disaster.
Yes.
We used the magic of YouTube's time machine to demonstrate that we were all beginners once.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know a hammer curl from a preacher curl.
Or a squat from a deadlift. Today we are going to address top 5 beginner mistakes in weightlifting that you should never make.
Mistake number 1 is dumbbell flies. And when I started working out, I felt really uncomfortable going heavy on this one. And it didn't really matter how long I trained for, it just did not feel safe. And I felt like it was really dangerous. And it turns out that it can be very dangerous. And Christina will show us why. You can see that when she's on the lower part of that lift, she's in a vulnerable stretched position. And she runs the risk of tearing a pec or even damaging her shoulder, and it may be very dangerous, especially if you're going to go heavy on this one. We also talked about this type of exercise, the dumbbell fly, in another video, which is in the link in the description below. Check it out, check it out. And in that video, we talked about the inefficiency of this exercise. We're gonna show you a safer version, and that's the floor fly. Now, this is a safer version of the exact same exercise. You see that the floor is underneath her, which is really important because now she cannot overextend because the ground's there to catch you. And because of that reason, you can go slightly heavier on this, and it's okay if you're not able to handle that weight because they don't have far to fall.
Mistake number 2, avoiding resistance bands. Now look, this point is mainly for the guys out there. And that's because I know a lot of guys avoid the resistance bands. Don't tell me that you're not doing it, I know you are. You may not think that they're manly, and maybe you avoid them because you're a bit embarrassed if someone sees you doing it. Oh shoot!
Yeah, so I was thinking that too.
Hey girls, what's up? Okay, so I definitely used to avoid the resistance bands too. I know a lot of guys out there think that resistance bands are really only for girls, but it's not true. And if you're one of our extraordinary athletes out there, which means you don't have a lot of time and you want to get in quick workouts at home, these are a perfect complement to any home dumbbell sets that you're doing or any home gym that you're making. And the reason for that is they can actually complement the strength curves of dumbbell sets that you do. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at an exercise, a regular dumbbell bicep curl. So you see that when I'm curling this weight, and you can even think of yourself doing it, when is it at its most difficult? Is it at the top? No, this is probably most difficult at the bottom portion of the rep. At the top, it's almost like I'm resting a bit, it becomes a little easier. And so this dumbbell set is most difficult at the bottom portion of the rep. But notice something, because of the different strength curve of the resistance band, when I use that to do a curl, take a look at what happens. Right now, as I'm curling with the band up, the strength curve is the opposite. Unlike with the dumbbell, and incredibly difficult at the top. This part, which was easier with the dumbbell, is now the most difficult. You can even see me struggling just to hold it as it's pulling my arm down, helping me get maximum tension at peak contraction of my bicep. So you can really use these resistance bands not just to complement your home workout, but to actually help improve upon it. Muscles don't know where the tension's coming from. They're not gonna fail to respond just because you're using a band instead of a dumbbell. So if you sacrifice using bands at home, you might be sacrificing some gains as well.
Mistake number 3 is underestimating your own strength. And this is easy for anybody to do. When you're a beginner and you're not into the game of lifting, you don't know your own strength. You don't know how much is too much, you don't know how little is too little. So it is recommended for all beginners to start off light so that you're safe and so that you can build up your strength. But don't be so scared that you never attempt to lift anything heavy. For you to accomplish hypertrophy, you need mechanical tension, muscle damage, and metabolic stress. For you to apply mechanical tension, you will need to utilize progressive overload, which means that you will gradually increase the weight that you use. So whether you're like me, who likes to work on their booty, or maybe their abs, or maybe you're like Al, who really likes to work on his biceps, or maybe you're any other extraordinary athlete and you have your favorite thing to work on. You would like to have your workout be maximally efficient. So what do we do for that? We need to pick weights that are heavy enough for us and not be scared of them. And if you're curious about how many reps you should do, what's your rep range for hypertrophy, then we got you covered. We actually made a video about that and it's in the link below. Now, I'm not saying go crazy and pick the heaviest weight you can find. No, I'm saying slowly work up to it, but make sure that you are working up to it. So for example, if you did 45 pounds and you managed to get 10 reps in, but you could have easily done 15, then when you go back to the gym, try to pick a heavier weight, maybe a 50 pound, and then try to go for 10 reps with that. Don't keep underestimating how strong you are.
Mistake number 4, and that's leaving reps on the table. A lot of people, when they're doing their exercise, let's say they say, I'm gonna do 10 reps, I'm gonna do 12 reps, and they just do that and that's it, and they feel satisfied and they walk away, and then they wonder why they have no gains. And the reason you don't have any gains is because in the last 10%, when you're really pushing and it's extremely hard and you're about to give out, that's where the gains are made. And especially for busy XOAers like you and I, it's extremely important that we take the muscles to failure and don't leave any of those precious reps on that table. Anyone can pick up that light weight, do their predetermined reps, and without any struggle, finish it off, feel really satisfied, and that's it. But it's not, because that's not where the gains are made. And we're not saying that you should struggle to the point where you have bad form. No, good form is extremely key. Keep that good form, but make sure that you're challenging yourself.
Mistake number 5 is doing static stretching before you exercise. So this one's actually a big no-no, but it's something that we all heard a lot about. I feel like just growing up, it was something that was assumed to be right, but we're gonna be showing you how it's not actually the case, and you should just kind of ignore that old train of thought. So back in the day, we used to have this idea that it was good for, promoting flexibility, for preventing injury, maybe for preventing soreness after your exercise as well. But it turns out that the opposite of that is actually true most of the time. It does not prevent injury, it does not decrease your soreness after you exercise, and in a lot of cases, it can actually weaken your performance in the exercises that you're about to do. A 2013 study that looked into whether doing static stretching before you exercise actually inhibits your maximal muscular performance found that those types of static stretches, when done alone as your warm-up before you exercise, should generally be avoided. A different study found that doing intensive static lower body stretches should be avoided before you do your lower body training and before you do your 1 rep max, specifically for your squats. Specifically, they found that doing the static lower body stretches led to a decrease in the 1 rep max and also a decrease in lower body stability. So what should you do?
Ditch the stretching altogether.
No, Raka, that's not it at all. So it's actually still really important to be doing, getting blood flowing into your muscles before you exercise. So you're much better off sticking with dynamic stretching as opposed to those static stretches before you start your exercises. Dynamic stretches involve taking your muscles and moving them through their full range of motion, and that is definitely the better option when you want to warm up and stretch before you exercise. But if you do really want to focus on flexibility specifically, you should save those static stretches for after your exercise, when your muscles are all warm and you're done all your lifting. Then you can get your static stretching in and work on that flexibility.
So there you have it, everyone. Top 5 beginner mistakes in weightlifting that you should never make.
Yeah, so be sure to steer clear of all these ones.
And let us know what other weightlifting mistakes or beginner blunders you want us to cover down in the comments below.
And also in the comments below, let us know what kind of mistakes you made when you first started going to the gym.
And don't forget to subscribe and like us. And Ed, we miss you, buddy.
Edward!
Ed.
Don't get hurt in training.